Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom, and this is the Benjamin Bloom Football Show. And we are back after the success of yesterday's first run at this subject. We are doing another ranking video. It's managers again, and it's managers as players. Yesterday, I did this for the Championship. Today, we're doing it for the Premier League. So I will be ranking each of the 20 current Premier League managers. We've got a new crop now since the promotion of Fulham in that playoff final. And I am going to be judging who, in my humble opinion, was the best player, ranked from 20 all the way through to first. Now, please get involved in the comments. As ever, I will say it's far more impressive to create something and to tear something down. So if you disagree with me, then put your own list in the comments. Great. Much better than having a pot shot of mine. And remember, it's just a bit of fun. It's just my opinion. People get very tribal to do with anything to do with their football team, even if a silly long-haired bloke on the internet says that the manager of their team was a worse player than the manager of another team. It doesn't matter. Try and enjoy it for what it is. It's going to be a bit of fun. But somebody has to be down at the bottom. So let's start with our first category here, barely a pro, because there are managers that have managed at the top level that barely kicked a ball. And look at that, the very top level. I think we'd all agree once Jose Mourinho was the greatest manager of the world, probably Inter to Madrid at that point, but says he wanted to follow in his father's footsteps, joined the Belenenses, if I'm pronouncing that right, youth team, played at Rio Ave, lacked the requisite pace and power to become a professional, chose to focus on being a coach. That's good. We had the same thing with Thomas Frank in the Championship video. Helps me out because when I'm ranking footballers, if one wasn't even a pro, then that helps. So Jose Mourinho, the Spurs manager, is number 20. Number 19, for similar reasons, but a little bit less of a choice for Brendan Rodgers. You can see there, professional career ended age 20 due to a genetic knee condition. However, an enforced retirement, he still went and played non-league, remained a youth coach at Reading, and worked at John Lewis to support his family. What a work ethic Brendan Rodgers had. No wonder he has got to the top, loads of trophies at Celtic, and now managing at Leicester City. Right, here we go. Stay comfortable. Let's not irk the Leeds fans, because the footballing god that is Marcelo Bielsa, now in Yorkshire and in Argentina. Look, I'm a convert, but he's going to be number 18 in my list. Bielsa played as a defender for Newell's Old Boys, so decent standard, but retired, aged 25. It's the most Bielsa thing you can possibly do, isn't it? And it's probably meant he can spend longer being crazed El Loco and learn all that he's learned. Again, don't take it personally, Leeds fans. When you see some of the players he's up against, you'll see why Leeds manager Bielsa is number 18 in the list. Here come the journeymen, who were good players, maybe played a little bit lower down than some others, starting with Roy Hodgson. What a career he's had as a manager all over the place, international, Italy, superb managerial career over many decades. But look, it started off at Palace there in South London, and in the main, a non-league career there for Roy Hodgson. So the Palace manager, Roy Hodgson, in at number 17. On my list, just higher, is the Brighton manager, Graham Potter. A better career than Hodgson, you can see there. The dizzying heights there of West Brom in the late 90s, which would have been second tier, but in the end loaned out and found his most appearances there at York City at the turn of the century. Good number, though, 320 appearances, if Wikipedia is correct. A left back there, a tall left back as well, again, if Wikipedia is correct, but very much a lower division footballer. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just putting him at number 16 in my list. The Brighton manager, Graham Potter. There is the Villa manager, Dean Smith, who, look at that, 566 appearances, if Wikipedia is correct. But a lot of them in the third division, a vast number, in fact. How did he never get out of the third division there with Walsall, who went on to manage Hereford, Orient there. And then strangely popped up a couple of divisions. Would that still be? Yeah, that would be second tier, wouldn't it, there with Sheffield Wednesday. But Dean Smith comes in at number 15. One place behind Sean Dyche, who you can see just has a few more peaks there in his career. I remember Sean Dyche getting to the FA Cup semi-final with Chesterfield when that shot went over the line. VAR would have had that against Middlesbrough at Old Trafford. There you can see, starts in the first division with Forest, straight down to the fourth, has to work himself up. It takes him nigh on 10 years to get up there with Bristol City. And then he's straight back down into the second division, again there with Millwall and with Watford towards the end of his career. So you can see, typical of a player that became a manager, the brains in the end take over and learn in the game, and ends up in the second tier there. A bit of a reverse here for Chris Wilder. If you look there, starts at Sheffield United. Sheffield United manager, obviously, is number 13 in my list here, and played up in the first division in the early 90s, but bombed out as such there. Would have probably been under Dave Bassett there. Ends up there, Rotherham, Notts County, Bradford, but still, hell of a lot of football Chris Wilder played. I've put him just one place below reigning champion Jurgen Klopp there, who's very modest about his playing skills there. I suppose you can be when you're a world-class manager. He said he went for a trial alongside Andres Möller, who was a great player for Germany and for Dortmund. Said, if that's football, I'm playing a completely different game. He was world-class. I wasn't even class. However, if you look there, Bundesliga 2 for 293 games with 44 goals. I think converted to a striker. Obviously a very tall man. Klopp started as a defender. But I think maybe he's been a little bit modest. Second-tier Germany, in my opinion, beats lower division English football. On we go now to our top 11. And these players have all dined at the top table, but not for their whole career. There's Ralph Hasenhüttl at number 11, the Saints manager. And you can see won 3 Austrian titles there in the early 90s with Austria Vienna. And then with Salzburg also winning a further title and a Super Cup. A big strapping centre forward and a good goal scorer there. Look, nearly 120 goals. The only thing holding him back there slightly is, where do you rank Australian, for goodness sake, Austrian. I said that in the other video about Gerhard Struber as well. Austrian top division as opposed to English second tier, possibly. So into our top 10, and there is David Moyes, who's going to dine very much off the fact that he did win the Scottish title very earlier in his career there with Celtic, despite only playing 24 games. Centre half there, comes down and plays in England, very consistent. Look at that, 535 games, if Wikipedia is correct there. Many in the second tier, and that medal puts him in my top 10. Speaking of the top, here come the guys, the top level pros. Very talented people, these guys, because they've been top level footballers, and obviously anyone in this list is a top level manager. And there is Nuno Espirito Santo, who's a strange player actually. Racked up the only goalkeeper in the list for a start. Racked up a lot in transfer fees, and look at his honours down the side there. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4 Primeira Liga titles there in Portugal, all with Porto in 2 separate spells. And under the tutelage of our number 20 in this list, Jose Mourinho, a Champions League and a UEFA Cup, Intercontinental Cup as well there, when Mourinho was just tearing it up. However, look at the appearances there. Very much an in and out, not always a first choice goalkeeper. So a bit of a weird one, because he went for money, played for Deportivo and Porto, but was never really locked in as the first choice guy. I think certainly his trophy cabinet would have him higher, but maybe, we'll look at some of the other players where it's the opposite, where they've been really longevity in their careers, but not many trophies. Nuno's the opposite, so he comes in at number 9, behind Slaven Bilic, who bit of a cult hero, but if you actually look, didn't play that many Premier League games there for West Ham and for Everton. Very much played at the top level in Croatia and in Germany as well. Hajduk split a few, 2 indeed, spells with them, but did win the top division in Croatia, the Yugoslav Cup, 2 Croatian Cups and the Croatian Super Cup. And also along the side there, international there, was part of that amazing Croatia team that finished 3rd in France 98 with Robert Jani, Davor Suka, Robert Prozinecki, a brilliant squad there. But as we'll discuss later in the list, maybe playing for a great team. Does that colour things? I don't know in this list. I've got Slaven Bilic, the West Brom manager there at number 8. And another newly promoted manager here at number 7 is Scott Parker, who started off at Charlton. And just look there, a lot of years in the top division in the Premier League. 18 England caps. Some sense with Parker, I think he just went to Chelsea at the wrong time, didn't he? Was one of the expensive signings that never quite managed to get in. And then he missed the gold rush, really, leaving to go to Newcastle before MOURINHO arriving there and doing the business for Chelsea. A lot of individual honours, but in terms of actual trophies, well, a first division title with Charlton and Intertoto Cup. But if you look in there, you will see Football Writers Footballer of the Year. Quite the outlier there for Scott Parker. Not many players in this list have got that. Maybe one other that we'll come on to. But Parker at number 7, the Fulham manager. Just behind the Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta, maybe more of a classy player than Parker, and so consistent in the Premier League there for Everton and Arsenal. But just look before that, PSG, Intertoto with them, and Glasgow Rangers as well. If I'm giving David Moyes props, then I need to give Mikel Arteta props for a Scottish League and a Scottish League Cup. Probably just pips Parker on the basis there, 2 FA Cup wins for Arsenal as well, and just a really steady Premier League player. Very much like Sean Dyche in the fact that just got better and better as he got older, and that always bodes well for a manager. With the brain, here comes our top 5, and these guys really are the elite players, top players and top managers. Indeed, as Harry Redknapp would say, top players. And here is Steve Bruce. Now, look, for those people who are maybe a bit younger and don't necessarily understand and just see Steve Bruce, the manager, who's kind of gone about Wigan and Hull, recently Aston Villa, had a cabbage thrown at him, and Sheffield Wednesday, and then now Newcastle. Be under no illusions, Steve Bruce was a hell of a player. And if you ask Alex Ferguson, who's probably better qualified than any of us to say, Manchester United probably wouldn't be where they are now without Steve Bruce, because in that transition from also Rans to Ferguson's incredible winning team, Steve Bruce was the captain, and he was the guy that was there with Gary Pallister at the heart of that defence, transitioning over from the Brian Robson days into a Keane and Ince, and then the class of 92. Just wrong age to really go on another couple of years and do everything with United, but still, what a player for them. And even for Gillingham and Norwich, they look at all the appearances, so consistent there. Second division with Norwich and a League Cup with Norwich as well. Look at that, 3 league titles with United, a couple of doubles there as well. FA Cup 3 times, League Cup once, 3 Charity Shields, the Cup Winners' Cup, European Super Cup. And also, just look at 1990-91 there. Scored 19 goals from centre-half. Absolutely formidable in the box. Everyone will remember the 2 goals against Sheffield Wednesday to turn the tide in that season in Ferguson's first title for United. Steve Bruce, what a player. What a brilliant player. Penalty taker as well. I'm struggling to compare him to anyone else. Maybe John Terry. Obviously, John Terry was better with his feet in latter years as the game advanced. But be under no illusions. Steve Bruce, the Newcastle manager, what a player he was. And someone who he probably played with for a hot minute. Did he? No, they might have just missed each other there. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, number 4. Again, an interesting one because did a lot of his best work off the bench, and always a sense that if Cole and York were there, well, maybe they were ahead of him, and then Ruud van Nistelrooy. But look at the goal-scoring feats, and everyone will remember who put the ball in the Germans' net. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer scored the winner in the Champions League final. Look at his record for Norway as well. This is Norway we're talking about, not Spain of 2008 or France of 1998. 23 goals in 67 games internationally, and just bossed it for Manchester United there. Nearly 100 goals for them. But look at the honours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, including that treble win, 2 Charity Shields, of course, the Champions League and the Intercontinental Cup as well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even though a reputation for being a super sub, but what a player. Number 4 in my list. Number 3. Wow, there he is, Pep Guardiola. Now, some people do get a little confused with Pep because he's been, one of the managers of all time. They assume he was one of the players of all time. He wasn't, but he was a great player. Be under no illusions about that. Deep-lying playmaker, thoughtful guy, Barcelona through and through. And you can see coming in there in the early 90s, that is Johan Cruyff's dream team there with Koeman, Baquero, Stoichkov, Romario, a great player in a great team. The honours reflect that. Look at all the appearances there, 250, playing right through the 90s for Barca. And look at the trophy cabinet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 La Ligas as Barca dominate the 90s. Copa del Rey, 4 Super Copa de España. There is the European Cup there at Wembley Stadium for Barca under Cruyff, the first in years and years for them. Cup Winners' Cup as well in 97. Super Cups. Gold medal for Spain under 23s in the Olympics, as well as some individual honours as well. 47 caps for Spain. Was just there before the great era, which essentially he helped create as a manager. But what a player Guardiola was. Brilliant. Key part of Cruyff's Barcelona dream team, as I say. And then really, I know that's not the issue here, but passed all of that on as Barcelona manager. Just the ultimate. I know Cruyff will be the ultimate Barcelona Hall of Famer, but not far behind would be Pep Guardiola. Now, we're into the top 2, and I'm sure you've all, if you're Chelsea fans and Everton fans, realised who the top 2 are. And this was an absolute nightmare to split these 2 guys. Both incredible players. I had to send some WhatsApps, ask some opinions. So thank you. You know who you are if I ask for your advice on this. Number 2, Carlo Ancelotti. And by the way, before we split number 1 and number 2, whichever way round you have these top 2, I don't mind really. I've flip-flopped. I've moved them around. I've got literally cut out bits of paper on my desk here where I've been moving them around. So whichever way you have this top 2, you can argue either way. But Carlo Ancelotti, a classy central midfielder, Italian player there, starting at Parma, goes to Roma and wins Serie A with Roma. And this could have flipped it in his favour. Was injured for the 82 World Cup. You can see there, only 5 appearances in 81, 82. Italy went on to win that. That probably would have tipped this list in his favour. Coppa Italia's there with Roma. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Would that be under Trapattoni? Someone will help me out in the comments there. Would it be Semen? I don't know. Or did he come later? But then, and this is where it becomes difficult, because do you class a player's greatness on the greatness of the team he played in? Because if you do, Ancelotti should be number 1. Because look in the top there, that is Arrigo Sacchi's Milan team of, look at the back 4. Tassotti, Baresi, Costa Curta, Maldini. He plays in central midfield with Frank Rijkaard, with Hullet and Van Basten ahead of him. What a team, what an influential team. And look at his appearances through that. A mainstay in central midfielder. 2 Italian titles, Super Coppa Italia, the 2 European Cups under Sacchi before Capello goes and takes over. And look then, 3rd place in World Cup Italia 90 on home soil. 338 appearances there. Not a great goal scorer, but more an operational midfielder. But I've watched back some of his goals when trying to make this decision, and a few absolute pearlers there. So a great player, Carlo Ancelotti, and what a career then as a manager as well. I really found it so hard to split the Everton manager, Carlo Ancelotti, from the Chelsea manager, Frank Lampard. But I've just gone for Lampard again. I believe, there you go, that the number one manager managing the Premier League as a player was Frank Lampard. I think we all know the story. His dad was a player for West Ham. He comes through at West Ham. We all seen that press conference of Harry Redknapp debunking ideas of nepotism, that Lampard was only getting played with. Lampard sat right next to him. That will build your character as well. Comes through at West Ham and then goes off to Chelsea, and then just an all-time great at Chelsea. Maybe only Drogba holds a candle to him, and John Terry in that era. Those three guys with Peter Cech as well just dominate English football. And this guy is a midfielder. When we look at the goal scoring record, it's just obscene. Nearly 300 goals across his career. And just look at those seasons in the early 2000s, 15, 19, 20, 21, 20, 20, 27. Just an incredible goal scorer, and some lovely synergy as well, because he actually played beautifully under Carlo Ancelotti for Chelsea. The reasons I've gone for Lampard just a little bit higher. Some people might argue that it's always this sense with Frank Lampard that it was his work ethic that got him through. Well, his work ethic certainly helped, but I'm sorry, you're pretty talented to have the career that Frank Lampard had. And I just feel that his goal scoring record, and yeah, some people argue he was very, very good at one thing, you know, getting on the end of things, scoring goals from central midfield. Just watch him play. He's just a complete footballer. Could have been a deep line playmaker if he wanted. Could have been a number 8. Could have been a number 10. He was all of those things all at once, often in those early MOURINHO teams, just playing off to the left central midfield, hard to pick up, half position, cutting in. Brilliant finisher, brilliant player, brilliant trainer. Let's look at the honours. It's absurd. Inter toto with West Ham, but then 3 Premier Leagues with Chelsea, 4 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, 2 Charity Shields, a Champions League. I know Ancelotti's got 2, a Europa League as well, runner-up in Ballon d'Or as well, Footballer of the Year in 2005. Look, I said you can have them either way, those top 2, really. But when you reel off Lampard's host of achievements there, what a player. And really, with any of those top 3, any of those top 5, in fact, just brilliant footballers. And hopefully the comments in this video will reflect that we can celebrate some idols and people that we obviously really admire as football fans, who have managed to be elite performers, particularly those top 5, not only as players, but as managers as well. What a skill set you have to do that. Let's just have a look through my top 10. There's David Moyes dining off, winning the league title there with Celtic when he was young. There's Nuno, maybe dining off Jose being his manager there at Porto, and a nice looking trophy cabinet. Slaven Bilic, a member of a great Croatia team that finished 3rd in the World Cup in '98. There's Scott Parker, one of 2 Footballers of the Year in here at number 7. Number 6, Mikel Arteta, got better and better through his career. A few more honours just puts him ahead of Parker. Steve Bruce, the captain, the guy in Manchester United's ascent to dominate English football in the 90s. And this guy, as they went on to dominate Europe, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, now their manager, number 4. What a player. Then the Kings. Pep, a Barcelona great, a member of Cruyff's dream team, deep line playmaker of brilliant quality. Carlo Ancelotti, serial winner with Roma, part of Saki's great Milan team. But number 1 is Frank Lampard, a Premier League great, a 200 goal scorer from central midfielder, with a trophy cabinet so loaded you would not imagine. There we go. That is the Premier League managers ranked 1 to 20 as players. Please get involved in the comments. Please don't get too emotional about this video. Never let your emotion override your reasoning. I've gone through, I've looked at stats. I don't support any of these teams. I'm an Ipswich Town fan. I have no dog in the fight. When you're typing your comment and you might be a bit emotional because you do support one of these teams, and you haven't thought about it maybe as much as I have, just have a little think before you write. I'm a big advocate of people being kind and using the comments on YouTube. They're a great thing. Don't we worry about that. I'm not against free speech, but just use those comments to discuss. It doesn't always have to be a debate with a winner. You don't always have to have a zinger. It's okay to just chat about what people's views are. And look, if you feel you know more about the subject than me or any of the other commenters, use the platform to try and educate. I'm big on this. Don't use it to be a jerk and try and put people down. If everyone gets a bit smarter, the tide rises. I don't see how that can be a bad thing. That said, please get your comments in on what you think. Would you have had the list ordered slightly differently? Please give me your reasoning. And as I said at the top of the video, it's far, far more impressive to create something than it is to tear something down. So why not put your own list in? I'd really enjoy reading your contributions here. Speaking of contributions, you can help me out. I don't have a job because of COVID. So if you're new to the channel, you won't know that. If you're familiar with the channel, I've told this story many, many times. So I'm trying to make my career either part-time or full-time doing this, talking about football. I love it. Hopefully you realize I'm just a passionate football fan, just like you, but I might need your help to do that. And you can help me by supporting on Patreon. There's a $3 tier there, which is basically a donation. If you just want to donate and help out, $3 a month, the price of a cup of coffee, and you could help a guy, a fellow football lover just like you, achieve his ambition. For $5 on Patreon, you can get some exclusive content, my Patreon only Q&As and my Patreon only vlogs. We will put more tiers on there as we go. Patreon is vital at the moment because I've made a mess up. I was earning some quite okay money here on YouTube, but I didn't send back a letter they sent me about an AdSense account and a PIN number. So I've had to apply for a new one. So at the moment, I cannot monetize my videos or do super chats on YouTube, which is a bit of a killer when it's my only income stream doing this at the moment. So that will hopefully be back, but it really does put a lot of importance on Patreon. So if you can go and help me out that, I would be really grateful. You don't have to. This is absolutely free on YouTube. But if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up to draw more people along. Please interact and get involved in the comments. Like I say, I'm not telling you what to write or how to think, but I am a big proponent here as a creator. I believe we have responsibility too, because we don't see a lot of people trying to police this. We have a responsibility to try and advocate for good behavior online. I feel if we walk down the street, we know how the street is policed, whereas online, we haven't quite got it sorted as human beings yet, have we? And it's a bit of a wild west. So if you are going to comment, as I say, please discuss. Doesn't have to be a debate with a winner or a loser or a zinger. And if you feel you know more than somebody else, try and educate them rather than yell at them. I'd imagine if anyone with children sent their children into school, and when the child didn't know something or someone, the teacher knew more, and they just yelled at them, I'm sure we wouldn't appreciate our children being treated like that. So let's not do it online. Anyway, off that soapbox, it is important though. I think it's really important. What is important as well to me is that you hit the subscribe button. That says 10,000 for our number of subscribers. However, I think we're up to 11,200 and something. Hit that subscribe button. Let's build up this channel and make it the best place to debate here and chat and discuss about football. This is primarily a championship channel, but this is a Premier League video. I did do the championship version yesterday. I think you can guess the protagonists at the top there. We've got some Champions League winners and some great European players, and another Barcelona great managing in the championship. So go and check out that video as well. Plenty of other stuff on the channel. We do a football update every morning. Well worth hitting that subscribe button. In the meantime, let me know what you think of this video. Let me know what you think of my top players there. My decision to go for Lampard over Ancelotti. Please comment with your own list and how you would order them, and get involved in the discussion and debate on future videos. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you very soon. Over and out.